All right. Hello. This is Alexander Wales. What are we doing today? We are doing exclusion stock. Um, Stream some number. So potentially just one today. None of these are in person. I don't know why that's part of the template. Shouldn't be. Um, so this is the exclusion stock for Worth the Candle. It's just a history and some features of Zones of Adventures and um, I guess we can just get cracking on this. So the first one's going to be the Zentria Exclusion. Let me. Um, the basic idea was that this was like an extra dimensional entad that has not infinite space, but so much space that. And I think I'm going to remove inescapable there. But. In Unsong by Scott Alexander, there's Waldrug. I think that this might have too much overlap with that. This is like, this is one that's potentially going to be cut. Which is not really really what you want to do. You don't want to be working on things that are potentially going to get cut. But I guess I'm gonna try to noodle this for a little bit and see. See what makes it interesting. See what like that, and if I can't do that, I might just move on to something else for now. If we need to ditch or replace something, then we will do that. So. There is some overlap with. Oh shoot! I gotta open up my my bridge. Oh, okay. So there's some overlap with the different exclusion we did before, the demiplane one. Okay, so this is just my brainstorming stuff, which I usually do off stream, because I can do it while I'm on a walk or picking my son up or cooking. I can do some of the intellectual work of writing there, but I don't know, I wasn't feeling it last night. Okay, I'm going to include the inescapable thing, but it's going to be in quotes because there's magic. There's lots of ways that you could potentially get out. It's like a black hole. I guess, yeah, it's just a black hole. I have not played Hyper Rogue. I've heard of it. I vaguely know what it's about. There's a this video, The Shape of Infinity. I'm not gonna watch it, but I think that's what we're going for inspiration. This idea of something, but I think the interesting thing is like a place to hide. A place to dump things. Ooh, I would like a note from Raven on this one. So for like beef with iniquities and stuff like that. Okay, I'm ready to start writing this. I think I'm in the place now where I'm interested in it. That can be a difficult thing when writing if you are like not interested in the thing that you're writing. It's a bad time. And yes, this is an I need to mark that this is an NTAD exclusion. I don't think it is going to affect the continent. That's just a happy coincidence. And we're going to go like... Okay, so what am I doing? I'm going to keep all that text there. Word count is 23.5. I like to do that at the end of the stream. So much space in a space. Is it better to have Z-easy or Z-E-easy? Z-E-easy? And bacon time, I am gonna take that. Like I've never played Hyper Rogue, but we'll, because we need an area for it, we're gonna make sure that that is like 28, a radius of 28 miles. Uh, okay, so Bacon Time in Hyper Rogue, how do you actually end up getting to it? Or do you not? Is the joke that you don't? Or is the point that you don't? I could go play a game, yeah. I'm trying to like get cranking uh on the exclusion zone docs. I do not want to be. I need to. You know, this is looking pretty red. This looking pretty filled in. We're at least halfway through. Okay, we're maybe not at least halfway through, but maybe after today we will be for sure halfway through. I also could. There's probably some way to count red squares. Okay, if yeah, okay, I'll figure it out later. But there's probably a way to count to just get like a on sheet 2 to get like a count um of status. So I will do that later. The Boundless Pit is a place to dump things, but it's populated. Um, I mean, there's lots of places to dump things because of all the exclusion zones. Um, the inescapability of this one makes it attractive, and it's inescapability in quotes because you can just lead through magic. Like, there's nothing that prevents you from like teleporting out and stuff. So it's not a perfectly impenetrable place. Uh, I'm gonna close that quick. It's not a plot hole, but it is one thing to consider. Like, what do you do if a warder comes in? I try to think about that for every single exclusion. It is not a fun thing to think about, but usually, but does need to be thought about. Stupid freaking neighbors are just like constantly mowing their lawns. Hello? Okay, sorry about that. I had a call. Uh, you missed the notification. I've done almost nothing right now. This is like the least amount of work that I've done in 15 minutes. Um, Mostly because of the brainstorming stuff. I shouldn't discount brainstorming as having done nothing. Yeah, black hole space-time dilation effect. We're gonna try to find the interesting stuff in it because I think by itself it's not super interesting. Is there a speed of light? Yes. I'm pretty sure there is. My only hesitation there is whether that's canon or not. Alright, it is canon. This is one where like the features part makes a lot more sense to be first rather than history. I'm gonna write it first, and then I don't really want to like for just this one move features to the top and history to the bottom. But I guess if you can't screw with your format, then what are you even doing there? Yes, you can teleport things in. I don't know what it looks like from the outside. I mean, it's. I think light can escape. I think that makes it different from a black hole. I mean, the reason black hole looks like it does is because gravity's so strong, light can't escape. I think it would look blue. Yeah. I think because you don't have a horizon, yes, eventually it would look blue because of the light. And also, I don't know. I think probably blue is correct. Um, um, constant wind inwards. I think it's not at this point creating more space. I think it is stable in how much space there is. I mean, probably, yeah, at the beginning. Wind effects. The thing is, you can. Well, okay. I was gonna say you can patch a lot of this with magic, but the idea is to not patch it with magic. And I'm gonna change the thing about teleport. I think. Um, yeah. Like you want to make sure that your method out works. Is the space folded on itself? I think it's easier to go in than it is to go out. And yes, that's probably something that should be clarified. And I'm already like not. I think this will make a fine entry. I just am not enjoying writing it that much, but this is why we do what we do. Um, I'm going to take a quick bio break and try to think on this. Okay, you piece of garbage. Okay, suggestion is wrong. There. It gets swallowed, but it's cathartic to tell the computer that it was wrong. Um, I think that's maybe all we need for history. I think this is going to be a relatively short entry, partly because I'm not having fun with it, partly because we'll keep it brief. Okay. Grab that. We're gonna basically be making stuff up as far as appearance goes. Like, ideally, I would know more about physics and be able to like simulate this in my head, or I'd be able to have a simulation run that would tell me what it looks like. I think it's blue. I think it's like looking at. I think it's a visibility thing because I think from the outside it's like you can see into the horizon and it's blue because light is coming back through open air. Yeah. I've seen that Stack Exchange post because I for sure looked at it when I was doing some at least some of the world building um, for Worth the Candle. I don't know how solid it is. Like yes, there is a um, over very long distances. There's a refraction that uh, that happens that I don't know would happen here. I mean, I guess it's normal gravity throughout the whole of the zone. I don't know. I think I remember one of the upshots being that like you would expect to like visually have it look like you are inside of a bowl of land. Um, which is like weird and kind of so to make it work for Worth the Candle, there's an atmospheric effect that deflects light up. I believe it is. The bowl thing. I want to switch to. This is like besides the point. This is not good writing. Uh, but the light thing, as explained to me, like this. Hopefully, you can see my like incredibly shitty MS Paint. So you have the horizon. You have like a light bulb here, and light goes, but because of gravity, light actually goes down over significant distances. And So you are standing here. That's what you look like, right? And you are like looking here, but you're seeing light that came from like up here. And then like really far away, you have a light that's on the ground. And some of these photons are going up and then coming down. And your perception of this as you look like from your field of view is that you are seeing this being up in the air, except it's actually down on the ground. So it kind of appears as though you're sitting in the center of a bowl, and it's very weird. I don't want to get into like any of this because it's like super complicated and unintuitive, and it kind of doesn't matter at all. That's so the hack for Worth the Candle. The hack was that there is some effect that bends light up. Well, I don't want to get into it in the exclusion doc. I think the bowl effect would be a problem, and I think that it's corrected by this hack that's put in to bend light up over long distances to correct for light being bent down over long distances by gravity. Well, I don't know. It's so right, steep angle, you'll hit the roof. But it's definitely one of those things where I was working on that very early on because Juniper was going to. I think it was when Juniper was going to Silmar City, which is in like very early book one, or of the published version. It's still book one, but he's going to Silmar City, and I'm just like thinking about this stuff, and it's just like it's a horrible headache that you get almost nothing out of. Like, it would be one thing to go through the headache and there's like all this cool stuff that you can like describe, but it's just like unintuitive stuff that you like need to keep in mind for the next 100,000 words, which is what I thought at the time. It ended up being 1.5 million words that I'd have to like every time a view is described try to work through the math of how far away you could see things. Also was narratively a concern in the Datura Desert arc. Space One Warrior. Shouldn't it be red due to Rayleigh scattering? Why would it be red? I know what Rayleigh scattering is. I don't know enough to know to work out Rayleigh scattering on my own. So an explanation would be wonderful. Long way. Okay. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah. Right. I well, okay. So the question is like yes. So the amount of Rayleigh scattering depends on the amount of atmosphere it's going through. I think it's a question of the amount of atmosphere you can see through. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I might just leave this like whole thing as a to do because I don't find this. It's interesting. It's just not super fun, and it's also hugely unproductive. Um, but it is the kind of thing that I would come to this. Okay, I'm gonna put a to do for that one, but there is probably an answer. The problem for this is that I think that people could have a debate about the answer, and someone is right, but it's very hard for me to tell who is right. Because yeah, if you think about it like a sunset, then you'd be red instead of blue. Okay, I think that's yeah. The atmosphere is, I think, a problem that needs to be solved with magic, or like solved with the magic of the Entad. Um, because yes, you can't just like create, like if you create, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of square miles of space, then you need atmosphere to fill it all, and that's a problem because then all the atmosphere from outside the zone needs to rush in as the space is created. I think that's just handled by that. But yes, the zone traps light. I'm gonna come back to this one or just leave it crappy. Like there's a good chance I leave this crappy because the amount of like work to finding an answer that very few people will be capable of checking me on or will have the incentive to check me on. You need ground too, yeah. So that's fine. We're just gonna hand wave some of it. Um, But yeah, this might be one of those situations where the amount of work to get a proper answer that no one can double check is the work is too much for the result, which I don't like doing. There's the part of me that just wants to know what the truth is, but it's a relatively high level physics question that you need to like take into account. You need to take into account the pull of gravity. You need to take into account Rayleigh scattering. You need to take into account. You need to take into account the the variation in terms of directionality towards the center, because I think it would look different if you're looking towards the center versus if you're looking away from the center. And stuff like that. Which is why this one's taking just, I don't know, it's been almost an hour and it's very little progress. So I'm gonna be done with this one very soon. I'm gonna get to Raven's notes and then I'm gonna leave some of this out. Okay, and then I'll move this up. I'll move this up so I have like a relatively complete effort if I don't decide to put more effort into this. Or a relatively complete entry. Okay, get rid of that. I don't know if I'm going to include that. I think I can remove this. This is just that. Place to hide, place to dump thing. Okay, that's actually only one to do. That's 3 to-dos. I can count. Do creatures live there? You can. There's just not really a lot there. One of the things that is interesting to me that I don't think I'm going to include here is the idea that you can have processes that overwhelm the infinite, right? Like if you have a bacterium that needs, or you have a plant that needs only sunlight to live. It doesn't need nutrients for whatever reason, right? Because it's magic or whatever. And it it has a life cycle of 1 year, throws off like 100 seeds. Then it doesn't take you that long to like overwhelm millions of square miles of space, right? Like you could have, it's been, I'm not gonna do the math, but it's been like 500 or 400 years, something like that, since this zone has been around. So you could have things that actually do have a substantial population in comparison to the Zentrian zone, which is interesting. It's neat, but I don't think it's going in there. That was one idea that I had, that like there's all this infinity and like there's something that's overtaken 80% of it just because of its growth rates. How big is the zone on the inside again? It is unspecified. And it's unspecified because I don't want to do the math. Okay, I'm going to leave all these to-dos in here. light grows dim. We've already said it doesn't because of how light works on, or it works in like as coming from the sun. Which is basically that there's no parallax. They're effectively inside a skybox, and the skybox still functions within this area, even though that's a little weird. Like no matter where you stand on the planet, you still have the same. The sun is still in the same apparent position in the sky, and so there's the whole interior of the zone is still lit. It's just a question of what happens when you look to the edges. And I think maybe that gets solved by like the illusion of horizon. I think maybe that just all gets solved by whatever solves it outside. So I'm not going to worry about this too much. There's is definitely possible. I'm probably not going to include that either. It's definitely possible that this to-do is just going to get removed without being resolved, and I will leave it at that. Okay, but that's done. I've been streaming like an hour and finally got it done. And I think this is good enough. It's interesting enough. It's got enough there in its relatively short thing. 700 words. That's actually not a terrible rate of writing. Ooh, ice magic. Do I want to do this today? You know what? I do. Now, ice magic has a problem. And that problem is that no one knows it's actually excluded. Ice magic was considered a lost art, not excluded. This line is a problem within the context of this document, which purports to be the exclusionary principle, 9th edition. And yeah, the place it's been excluded to is a mystery. And we have a date here, which is 4FE. And it's called Control-Shift, paste. Okay. And that's relatively... So, one of the things I was thinking about with regards this document is that this can be the 9th edition. It can be a... this can be something that came out of the Infinite Library. It can be like an alternate telling that explains some of this. So I think I'm just going to write this as though it is known, and the explanation for that will just be that this is from like an alternate timeline where more about the exclusions was uncovered, possibly with Juniper's help. But it depends on how much editing that takes to do. This is the... All right, so you could hold this up as an example of a not fully understood edge case, whether it is a lost art or an exclusion. Because I think if you know about exclusions, then someone saying, oh, it's like a lost art and it used to be super powerful, now no one does it anymore, that would make you like super suspicious. I think that's not... There are different ways to handle this. I kind of shouldn't have picked this one for today because it's more difficult because of that. So there are two different ways to handle it. One is just to plow on ahead and just like treat it like a different exclusion zone with maybe some notes about, hey, like we didn't know that it was where it was excluded to until the location of the exclusion zone was found at such and such a date. The other option is to treat it as the location of the zone is unknown, but this is just a description of the magic and its history and theories as to what happened. But the thing is that like this theory right here is proposed within the text that like Uther was probably responsible for this exclusion and stuff like that. Like a longer version of this, is that worth writing? I don't know. I kind of think not. But it was one of those things. I don't know why I gave myself a hard science one and a hard narrative one back to back, but I am going to try to get this one done today as well because today is Wednesday, which means I have put a chapter out for Dungeons. I don't need another chapter out for Dungeons until Monday morning. It is... I think I have like 1,000 words written of it, and I just need to do like 2,000 a day, and I can get it done in 2 days, 3 days, something like that. So I like to do other work on Wednesdays. Wednesday is like I'm clear on Dungeons. The deadline is as far away as it will be. Or as it ever is, unless I take some time off, which I'm going to do in September. All right, and I said all that, and I didn't decide on what I was going to do. I think I'm going to just write it as is, because most of it is going to be in the history section. And if most of it is in the history section, then I can change my mind. So I'm going to do the history section first. And then I can change this to like unknown or, hypothesized, or it actually I think says in here, silent exclusions. And I don't believe we have one in the list right now. Oh, no, it's not silent. Not dead. Is there not a name for this? I think there's not. Which is an unfortunate oversight on my part. And also, I don't think there are any examples written of silent exclusions yet, so I probably want to do one of those. Mostly because it would be fun. Yeah, that was I did propose that it was, I think it was me that proposed it. It might have been someone else and I read it and I'm just taking credit for it. Silent is things that no one's affected by it. It's illusion is a silent exclusion because no one was known to have been using illusion magic. So anyway, I'm gonna plow ahead as I love to do. I don't actually love to do it, but it is necessary to get work done. I'm gonna write the history section, and I'm gonna leave everything else done. And yeah, there are too many unknowns and suppositions and things like that. It is. I think this being the 9th edition is just going to be from the library. I think that's going to be the provenance of the text. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And part of the reason that there's so many unknowns in it is because I like the unknowns. I think those are more compelling and they give more flesh to things. It's not like a mystery box thing. Like, it's just, it works better for the feel of the exclusions to have, here's what people have tried and here's what they've like tested and here's what didn't work. And we don't really have a way of knowing these things, and I like that better than just like laying everything out matter of factly. It's partly this SCP feel to it, like you have all this bold information that you like know certain things exactly, and then other stuff is like major stuff is just a question. So I think this is going to be a library like taken from a more complete one taken from the Infinite Library, so it's not a full version. But I think that this is not going to be, the glacial is not going to be completed today. I will just write the history. And we'll see. So I think the whole Invasion of the Ice Wizards thing happens in 4 FE. Grand Wizard has too much of a KKK feel to it for me. Although I guess that... nice. Oh, that's hilarious that Discord wants to or not Discord, Twitch wants to censor the term Grand Wizard. It's like such a KKK thing that you're not even allowed to say it. We can just take a glance at Bacon Time's wonderful map. And so we have Bretagne. Bretagne. Okay, whatever. And then the Ice Wizards is not on the map, but they came from the north. Ice magic. Twain. Okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah. So cross to the Northern Ocean. And Ice Wizards is after the establishment of the First Empire. Across the... Is that how you spell it? Pycrete? Yes. Brett. Okay, so the Ice Wizards do come out of nowhere. Yes. The thing about the Ice Wizards is that okay, let me find the references to Ice Wizards. I think here. They're included under Schloss. Yeah. I think that's the last that is heard of Ice Wizards within the text. Right. And that does say it was an expansion of magic, which I guess... I should include. And yeah, it is one of those things where you look at this map and you're like, this continent, like, wasn't on maps and stuff. It was considered, it was like it's not that far. I like that. Because it's one of those things where you have this suspicion that this continent did not actually exist, that it was added in later as like DLC or whatever, or the author had not thought of this continent at the time they were writing the first book. That's what I like about this. So it's like, yeah, right, this continent was there the whole time. We just we didn't mention it, but it was definitely totally there. So the magic hasn't been described yet. I think I will save that for later. Like, share some similarities with a different thing. This I forget which exclusion, but shares this was the original conception for ice magic, which I don't think was included anywhere until just now. Did they know about the rest of the world? I guess in my mind, there's an exploratory mission that precedes their invasion, and their invasion happens because, um, like it, you know, yeah, I think this material effects thing might need to be rewritten, but the idea is that you make this totem and it does stuff. So I'm just gonna we're having like ill-defined changes. Okay. Global's the wrong word, obviously. Yeah, I'll probably finish this history section and then go eat a sandwich and take a nap. 'Cause my focus is just not here. And also, I need to think a little bit about whether this being like a Lost Library edition of the exclusionary principle is appropriate. That could work. A year-long. I mean, like the specific weather conditions that allow you to do that. I think in terms of what's been put down already, that it's maybe not as workable. Like I would rather it be like a consolidation of power. All right, I'll just type in and we'll see where I'm going with this, and hopefully it's compelling or whatever. What do we go? First frost. The glacial minaret is a giant ice totem, yes. But we're getting there. We're going through. I actually will probably not finish this history because I'm just getting really hungry and tired. So we'll see. We'll see how far into history I can get. I think this is going to be one that has a long history, and then maybe I will just leave it as like, hey, if this is an exclusion, this is its history, but where it is, we don't know, and then you can just have a note from someone saying, yeah, it's right there. do. Can't use impart twice. That looks weird. Beachhead with two H's. Beach. I don't like that when compound words do that when they have like a. Choose. Close this window and get some of this wind out. When compound words have a two of the same letter next to it, it just looks weird to me. Okay. Call them forts. No, forts. Forts. Frost fort. Okay. Frost forts. That's all way better. Okay, so here's one of these writing things. As the relatively non-magical forces. That is not how I want to phrase that. The relatively the term non-magical is not doing enough work here. Like, okay, so Why would you correct unindustrial to industrial? Jesus Christ. Freaking Google pisses me off. Well, no, the word is not conventional. But I want the equivalent to unindustrial, like magical magicalization is a process that armed forces in the world of Worth the Candle have undergone, right? You expect in the modern day of whenever this document was written, or from whatever vague viewpoint we're using here, you expect armed forces to have full integration of magic. Oh, I'm going to open my window so you can hear the emergency test. This is first Wednesday of the month, every day every month in the Midwest. I guess we don't do it during winter. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah, that's the alarms. I just wanted you to hear that. Okay, I'll close my window now. That's every first Wednesday of the month in the Midwest. I assume it's the whole Midwest. I'm pretty sure it is. Alarms, those are just tornado test alarms. But in the American Midwest, we get those to test for like severe weather warnings, and those go off. Those go off every Wednesday of the month. First Wednesday of the month. I don't think they go off in winter at all, because you don't need to do one of those for a blizzard. But I'm pretty sure that you don't have that in like Europe or Asia or wherever. I guess I don't know for sure, but it seems a very Midwest thing to me. I know I've had people from like California or New York just like don't know about this is a test. This is only a test. We gotta test the sirens. Here's what they sound like. That type of thing. We're going to do magically unintegrated, but I feel like there should be a specific word that they would use in this world to refer to this change to a more magic in the army, or magic as like a key component of warfare. I'm gonna leave this in bold so I know to come back to it. But it's one of those things you gotta just move on. You can't spend. There's something someone was saying on Discord yesterday about like spending a whole bunch of time just like get like minor improvements or not improve anything at all. And I think about that when writing because sometimes it's like, hey, this is one phrase out of the whole thing. Is this phrase going to be like the keystone phrase? No, then like I don't know. There are some writers who do that. They write, but they only write like 500 words a day instead of whatever. Oh, almost 2 hours. Okay, I gotta wrap this up. I need some lunch and some rest. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave this one here, and I think I'm not gonna touch it for a while. And I think we are going with like this is a historical document that, or this is a library document from like the future when more is known. But then I got to read through the whole thing. That's 1,300 words over 2 hours. It's not great stats, but whatever. I'm going to end it here today. I feel like I've hit my limit. This can all be removed. It does say ruling council of wizards. Whatever. I will come back to that. But a brief to do. Definitely the kind of thing that you want to look at before you start writing much. Okay. How much work would this be to finish at the moment? Yeah, there does need to be front matter on this eventually. To do glossary, yes. Special thanks, will do. Yeah, 51 pages. Jesus, that's a lot. Cleaned up. Yeah, still like a ton of edit. This is gonna be so much freaking editing. Okay, 25,000. That's not that much to edit. That's just a quarter of a novel. No, that's just like editing 5 chapters. And if I'm half done, then that's like in total it'll be like editing 10 chapters. That's not too bad. Might do editing streams for those. Alright, I'm going to try finishing this. I think Exclusionary Principle, 9th edition, taken from the Infinite Library. Taken from the Infinite Library, acquired by Raven, and which Juniper has a copy of in story toward the end of the story. But I don't want to, like, have this document spoil more of the story than it needs to. Which is fine. And then this can also contradict other stuff that's in the story by taking precedence or by being ignorant or whatever. And then I like that by itself, but it also makes things easier for me, which is great. Thought lost until we're going to do some date in the future. It'll be 5. Then we can also contradict some of the numbers so that I don't have to worry about them. I don't like doing that, but on the other hand, I feel like reconciliation for this might get real bad. Like, might get just incredibly... Alright, we're going to call this done. We're going to call this done, but there's an outstanding to-do on it. We will call this glacial. We will say this is for FE. Spoilers, technically, sure. I'm gonna leave that to do there. That's easy to clean up though. And just have it the Council of First Frost, if need be. It also makes sense for there to be like a leader among the council, but whatever. We're talking small. We're talking like 30 square miles. Okay, I think that's done. I think that's enough for this. Works well enough. I think it's interesting enough. I think it's this is like a lore heavy one, but whatever. I mean that's good. Who does not like lore? Let those who do not like lore cast the first stones. Okay. I'm gonna call it good for now. I'm not. It's whatever. Can be not happy with things. That's. It's not that I'm not happy. It's It's that I think it will need more from an editing pass than I typically like. Okay, creationism is going to be one for next time. And I think this butterfly one, I think this is mentioned in text. Papillion, which just means butterfly. So as usual, I will be thinking about this tonight or when I'm going for a walk or something or whatever. And hopefully I will have something, I will have found something good to write about within each of these. Okay. That is, I believe, the stream for today. I'm going to do a second word count. This is 2 hours, 4 minutes. And this is like majority text. Okay. 1,500 for 2 hours. That's not terrible. Okay. Thanks for joining me. And I will be streaming again tomorrow, probably around the same time. Probably not for as long. See you later.